Today, I'm going to be changing the battery in my 2016 Vauxhall Zafira Tourer 1.4. It needed a jump start the other day, so the original battery has gone a bit flat. Here is the one I've picked up from Euro Car Parts. It's a 60 amp Bosch battery. First off, this black cover needs to come off the top of the battery. It's just clipped on. It does really easily come off, although it's a bit tricky when you're doing it with one hand trying to film. Just kind of stretch the back a bit and it will pop off. Now, this does expose a lot of scary looking connectors, but don't worry, you only need to remove two bolts. The red one at the top left-hand corner, and this one here. It's really quite straightforward. First off, let's take this bracer bar across, which keeps everything tight and secure. It goes across the top of the battery. Just before we do that though, I really would recommend one of these magnetic screw holders. There's a good bar across the front of the engine, which is also magnetic, and this can clamp onto. And you can put all your bolts and screws and little washers here. It really does make things easy, and you don't lose things. Right, so I've got a 10mm deep socket here. I'm going to remove this small nut, which will release the tension on this support bar. With that removed, this just really easily pops off. Now everything becomes loose. The whole kind of surrounding to the battery is loose, and this extra plate you can see here, which helps keep the battery snug and in position, that's also loose. Just kind of push it to the side and then push it down a bit and just wiggle it. It doesn't need to come completely out, it just needs to stop that little overhanging bit, stop removing the battery. You'll basically lift it out. Let's take the negative power supply off. I'm going to use my 10mm deep socket on this again as well. Just loosen it a bit, it doesn't need to come all the way off. Now with it removed, I'm covering it in a paper towel, just because I don't want it to short on anything metal inside the car. Well, outside the car, sorry, in the engine bay. Just to remove anything that's shorting. It's just a good practice, I think, just to keep it safe. By the way, if you're liking my video, please do give me a like and subscribe. I really would appreciate it. Right, let's loosen the positive connector now. Again, deep socket, 10mm, and let's just loosen this one here. It doesn't need to come off again, just loosen it. What we also need to take off is this 13mm socket. I've just got a normal 13mm socket here. And then we just remove that, and then the rest of the battery connector stuff should come off. It's not too bad. So I've removed that one as well, and I've also wrapped this in a paper towel as well, again to stop it shorting. There's less metal around here, but I just think it's safe practice just to cover the terminal. Now there's a little plastic clip, so this whole section here, which holds these scary looking connectors on, or lots of connectors, is just a kind of plastic trim. If you put a screwdriver down the side, you can just kind of stretch it around the battery, and then this whole top section with all these other connectors will come off in one go. You can see me wiggling it here and it's a bit loose. With that done, look, you see this whole top section comes off, so it really is much more straightforward, and you don't have to take off all those other connectors, and this exposes the battery. Now thankfully, or in GM in their interesting ways, remove the handle. So it's a bit fiddly, you kind of have to pull it out at a strange angle like this. The petrols are okay, but the diesels can be a bit heavier. So maybe have some Weetabix in the morning. And here's the battery removed. And as you can see, it would have a handle, but for some reason GM, maybe penny pinching to save a penny per battery, have removed the handle. That's nice of them, isn't it? Right, in with the new battery. So we've got the big gap here, and in the new battery goes, with the positive terminal facing towards the back of the car. We'll reconnect it in the reverse that we disconnected it. So we'll insert the battery and connect up the positive terminal first. So here we are, I've reconnected the positive terminal and I've clipped on this top plate again, which has all these extra connectors. We can then do the additional positive connector, which has the 13mm socket here as well. Again, that just goes on, and then just nip it up with the 13mm nut that you removed earlier. That's going to tighten all the battery connector stuff up now, the bar and this plate, so that it's all in their secure position. Because obviously if you leave this loose, the battery is going to just wiggle around. So let's make sure it's all back in place. So we just want to push the battery up, make sure it's nice and snug, and then wiggle us together. Here we can see the battery is now firmly back together. The side plate is on. It's all in good shape. What we can do now is put the bar across to keep it all nice and taut. So here we go, bar going back on, back of my trusty 10mm deep socket here. Tighten this up, and then the battery should be really secure and it's not going anywhere. Last up, let's do the negative power connector. This has been tucked away with my paper towel wrapped around it, just keeping it safe and secure. And once we put this on, the car will get power again. So this is it all hooked up again. Now I'm going to give everything a really good wiggle. A negative power connector, the support bar, the top kind of plastic frame which holds all the positive terminals, the side of it. Just give everything a really good wiggle just to make sure it's fine, because you will get a little bit of movement when the car is driving, obviously. This looks good. So let's just put the plastic connector back on, or cover back on, sorry, which protects the positive terminal. And that's it. Your battery is now fitted. Now there is one thing I forgot to film. Once it's all powered back on and you turn the ignition back on with your nice shiny new battery fitted, it will ask you to reset the windows. You'll get some instructions on the display in the car. Basically, you need to put each window down in turn and it'll tell you inside the car. Sadly, I forgot to film that bit. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. As I mentioned earlier, please do give me a like and subscribe. I really would appreciate it. Thank you.